so hard to look away. Like I'm gonna get a tattoo if I lose a game of Folly, guys. You know what I mean? Like these little beans are gonna determine whether or not I have something permanently on my body. And I think it's fun. I'm trying to put IRL content and gaming content together. So I'm trying to create the emotional connection to me as a person, and then connect that to whenever I'm doing the challenges, what's going through my head, how I came up with the challenges, and like create pieces that not just gaming fans can watch, but people who are just interested in the human condition can watch. We can all get excited about one hit, but how can you make bangers every single day? And the answer is through sustainable practices, creativity, and planning. And that's not, that's not what we get into content creation for. I want to play video games, but you are serving the algorithm. The algorithm is not serving you. Whenever you upload a video, it is trying to find videos for an audience. That's what the algorithm is trying to do. It's not trying to find an audience for your video. Whenever you're streaming on TikTok, the viewer pops in for maybe 5 seconds, and if they're not entertained, they're gone. If you come in and I'm live on TikTok, I'll be like sitting here bouncing, like just to keep my energy up. And I'm playing the game, and if I'm not playing the game, if I'm like a low moment, I'm like looking over here and I'm like saying thank you for the follow, thank you for the likes, like thank you. I'm like responding, so I'm like trying to do this the whole time, and it's like extremely taxing. I don't hold a grudge against anyone that didn't have faith in me, because like, man, if I met old me, I wouldn't have faith in me. Sure. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Welcome everybody to the Becoming a Creator podcast. Today I am joined by Halite, who has found insane success over on TikTok, hitting over 1 million follows there. He's been killing it at Fall Guys, streaming to even TikTok and YouTube. And a big contributor to that is the insane challenges that he sets for himself, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about today. I'm a big fan of your content. I actually had the pleasure of meeting you, Halite, down in Texas, for those of you guys who don't know. So super cool getting the opportunity to meet you. Become quite a fan of your content as I've seen what you've been posting and doing. So
thank you.
Hyped to talk to you today, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited. This is super surreal. Like I can't believe this. Like, wow.
Heck yeah. There is so much to get into in particular here. One of the things I kind of wanted to expand on a little bit deeper was TikTok in particular. On your Twitter description, even, it says that you're good at keeping things under 60 seconds, right? Yeah. Which, for some things that's better than others, but for TikTok in particular, over 1 million followers there, they would agree, right? Yeah. What has been one of the biggest revelations, I guess, even around that creating of short form content? Is it like the cuts, the captions, the looping? Is there anything that like stood up? Because I'm sure your content is different now versus where it was when you started out.
That is such a fun question to get to answer. So starting out, it was like, I was just trying to make videos that I enjoyed. Like I would just like come up with something that I thought was good, and I would have a funny clip, and I was like, oh, this is good. I bet other people will like this. And then now fast forward 2.5 years, I'm trying to put IRL content and gaming content together. So I'm trying to create the emotional connection to me as a person, and then connect that to whenever I'm doing the challenges, what's going through my head, how I came up with the challenges, and like create pieces that not just gaming fans can watch, but people who are just interested in the human condition can watch it. So like I've gone from like, I have a clip on Twitch, yay, like here's an intro for it, like this is the funniest thing that's ever happened to me in Warzone, to I hate the color pink, and here is a 57-second short form film about it. And it's like so much fun to get to study and learn and be creative. And like sometimes they do horribly, but I know what works now. I know what's effective for content because we've done so much research. So now that we know what works, we can take what works and try to be creative with it and like push content forward. That's something I'm really passionate about, is taking something and innovating on it and doing something new with it. And I accidentally, well, I don't want to say I accidentally, I'm not sure if it ruined the TikTok algorithm, but like it's really hard to get on TikTok without seeing I'm live right now. And so, but on the back end, it's actually session time. That's why we developed that strategy. It was to take a 15-second video and try to push someone to a live stream for 5 minutes, because TikTok and YouTube and all of the apps that are developed for sharing content, they're there to keep people on their app. That's why they want high watch time. That's why they want all these things. They really just want people to stay on their app. And so if I could get someone to watch a 15-second TikTok and then go to my live stream, and then if they watch 4 minutes, they just watched 16 more TikToks that are 15 seconds because of my one TikTok. And then whenever I was the only person doing that, it was million, 9 million, 4 million, man. Like it was just milli, because I was the only one exploiting session time. And now I don't think a lot of people have figured that out. I've heard people think that it was, people accidentally hitting follow, whatever I told them to go to the live, but all of the structure that we have built around the live content is based around session time.
And I mean, talking about like even getting attention in the first place, you have videos like blindfolding yourself and having a friend speak you through a Fall
Mhm.
Guys match, getting a Tim the Tap Man Fall Guys tattoo. Have you found that the audience is more engaged by those challenges with consequences of immense embarrassment attached to it? Like, is that a big factor?
Yeah, I mean, high stakes challenges, it's just fun to watch, you know? I think that there are a lot of things that can push a video forward, and I think one of them is just having the stakes be really high, and then whenever you take really high stakes and you add, like, a 2-hour time limit to it, now you have something that's, like,
Mhm.
really hard to look away from. So, again, the session time is insane because people just it's only 2 hours, you can't stop watching, and then, I go from literally nothing to the Tim the Tatman finale. I had 4,600 people watching me on YouTube. Like, on my main stream, I peaked at 18,000 on my TikTok stream, and it's just because it's so hard to look away. Like, I'm gonna get a tattoo if I lose a game of Folly Guys. You know what I mean? Like, these
Yeah.
little beans are gonna determine whether or not I have something permanently on my body. And I think it's fun. Like, that's something that I think that it's easy to forget as a creator whenever you're making content, is that at the end of the day, you want to make the viewer feel something and you want them to have fun. And it's just like so fun. There are so many people like, you're an idiot, like this or that or the other thing. But then there are a lot of people like, man, like, I watched this with my son and we bonded over this. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful that we got to spend this time together. And it's like, man, that's invaluable. That's why we do this.
Well, and to me, a lot of it even is the idea that you're coming up with that is like transferring people over to this, and you're creating a bigger picture
Mhm.
around what instead of to your point even earlier of I put up this Warzone clip or whatever, but it's like I've got this piece that feeds into the other piece, and you're taking more time to think through it and create this story to where it's like you have the urgency, you have the intensity of the embarrassment or whatever with
Right.
it. I guess what's your brainstorming process for even coming up with some of these ideas? Because I think a big pitfall people get into, even myself included, is sometimes you look at too much content, you don't
Mhm.
end up actually creating it or brainstorming or thinking of it. So what is kind of your process like for it?
Yeah, so we have like a really big Google sheet where we have like ideas and stuff. So I have a full-time editor. His name is Nutra. He is the GOAT. I need to give him a shout out. He is the reason why I'm here. He is literally the backbone of all of our processes. The reason why I make such a big deal about him is because he is just as passionate about content as I am. So he and I get into a call every day, like 2 or 3 hours, and we just chat. And then from there, we come up with our strategies and what we're going to do for the week. And we like plan everything out and we make sure that's the number one tip. If I was to give one tip to new content creators, man, please make a plan. There is no feeling like going into a stream with no idea what you're going to do. So much anxiety, at least for me. The example I want to give, like, imagine that I was trying to make like clip content. Like, I watch a lot of your stuff on Instagram. Me trying to
Sure.
compete against you, like, I have no chance. Because it's not just that I have to be as good as you and as funny as you. I have to be better than you. I have to be funnier than you. And like, this is your full time job and you have a team around you. What are the odds that me, like a single brand new content creator, is going to come close to anything that you can put out and the rate that you can put stuff out at? Because the algorithms love that. Like, the more consistent you make the content, the more they know they can rely on you to consistently serve an audience. And that's what we are as creators. We're serving an audience. And so we sit down every day and we think about that. Like, okay, how can we do something that can put us up there with the creators that are the best? And it's not going to be by doing the things that creators are already doing. We're going to have to take it a step further. We're going to have to go the extra mile and we're going to have to innovate. And it's the only way I think you can like truly get to where everyone wants to be. Everyone wants to be an S tier creator. Everyone wants to be the next Stone Mountain. Everyone wants to be the next Ninja. Like, it's where everyone wants to be at, but it's very, very, very hard if you don't take a step back and look at what everyone is doing and what you can do to be the only person doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% like differentiate your content. It is such a massive it's exactly how I even got to where I was at in the first place and
Hmm.
to create the things and to create the systems and to build those things. Like that's one of the things that like I'm seeing your content and what you are doing and how you're working toward has been so fascinating to me. And I just it clicks with me in terms of what I see you doing.
Thank
Back
you.
in the beginning of May, though, you were blowing up on TikTok with what you were just briefly discussing. You're getting like a million views every single post. How did your content plan, I guess, change as you had the more engagement with it? Was it keeping on with what you were doing? Was it like, oh shoot, I got to do even more now and like take advantage of the opportunity while I have this? Like, what was going through your head at that point?
We can all get excited about one hit, but how
Yeah.
can you make bangers every single day? And the answer is through sustainable practices, creativity, and planning. And that's not, that's not what we get into content creation for. I want to play video games, but
Yeah.
and now I'm playing Fall Guys, doing challenges of like I would have never ever imagined that would be here from where I started, because I started playing Fortnite. I wanted to be a competitive gamer, like I wanted to play Warzone competitively, and then I played on mouse and keyboard, so that was never gonna happen. But that's a whole nother story.
Did you see that there was a discrepancy in, like, even the gaming community with the physical challenges and, like, fitting yourself into that perfectly?
We were really over leveraged on stakes for a long time. We hit billboard, win a game in Fall Guys, or I have to get a billboard, go to my gym as a Fall Guy. Like just really, really embarrassing, sometimes expensive stakes that we would put on the line. And it was like, okay, how can we take what we've captured? We got a little lightning in a bottle here. Like we know that this works. How can we take this and make it more sustainable? Because I mean, I can't get to the point where I'm flying on PJs like Mr. Beast and we're crashing them and making videos about it. Like, it's just not going to happen. There's already a Mr. Beast. Like, I can't get to that level. And so, what we did was we tried to take the videos and make them standalone. So before we were doing the promos, where it was like, I'm live right now, and instead rather than doing those, we would do follow up standalone stories, and that's what we're doing now, where they're like 50 to 60-second long stories talking about what happened on the stream. Because if we can take that 4-hour experience with the challenge and break it down into 60 seconds and give all the best moments to the viewer, now we're going viral again, which is great, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And so we're really, really honed in on storytelling and taking the fun challenges that we do and making them as accessible for everyone as possible. The system changes really fast. A lot of people saw what I was doing. They saw what we had captured. They're like, oh, we can do this too. And they could. It wasn't that hard. And so how can we take our own thing and re-innovate on it? And that was scary.
You don't always know what's even gonna work, and sometimes it
Mm-mm.
does work, but what I like about what you're even doing with it is you've got the format kind of set of, like, you kind of have the idea, you have the content structure for it, and you're kind of even figuring out other ways to deliver whatever that is. Like, it's just it's very interesting to see, and that's what, like, even to your point of differentiating, right? Like, you're finding ways to figure out those different stories that are then relevant to those other audiences, even if it is Mr. Beast or whatever, who still's got his format, but then he's got these other channels and these other ventures because he figures out those systems, formats,
Right.
and keeps it going. I want to chat a bit more about YouTube as well with you. The
Mm.
channel started really only as a shorts channel. So, in envisioning yourself doing YouTube at some point in the future, what was that?
Everything that we built out is with session time in mind. So we were thinking, we call it the funnel. And so to have the complete funnel, it would be they see the short form, they go to the stream, they enjoy the stream. If they miss the stream, they watch the YouTube video, and then we
Mm.
just funnel. It didn't really make sense for us to not have it all in the same channel anymore, because if you look up Halite 2, that was our old long form channel. And so we had that going for a little bit, but the session time I think is so powerful. I think it's an analytic that people overlook a lot. Watch time is great, click through rate is great, but if you can develop session time in your strategies, that's why we use YouTube the way we do now.
Are you still working on kind of the more, I guess, medium form content or the longer form content of videos with that?
We are doing exclusive stream content where you can only see this content if you're on stream, and then exclusive YouTube content. So it's a little bit more work for me because I'm not using our streams as recording time. But I think that the product at the end is better because I'm more focused on stream and I'm not focused on content. And whenever I'm focused on content, I don't have two different chats flying that I'm trying to keep up with. And then people call me an El Bozo and I'm getting pissed. And like, you know what I mean? I can just focus on the content at hand and then do what we're good at, which is make the videos and tell the stories on the back end. And then on stream, I just mess around. And if it's a bad stream, it's a bad stream. Who cares? But the content's where we live at, because we're trying to upload a YouTube video every single day because the consistency I think is important. This is one point I want to drive home for new creators, is that you are serving the algorithm. The algorithm is not serving you. Whenever you upload a video, it is trying to find videos for an audience. That's what the algorithm is trying to do. It's not trying to find an audience for your video. And so if you can consistently create content that serves the algorithm, they know, okay, this video is going to get at least 50% watch time, and it's a Fall Guys video. Everyone who likes to watch Fall Guys is going to start getting pushed to your content because they know they can rely on you to consistently create good content for their audience. If you start to think like that, you'll see a lot more success way faster.
Have you noticed a difference between the audiences themselves on TikTok and YouTube? Because obviously you've had a ton of blow up even on YouTube, and I've found, at least on the different platforms,
Mhm.
especially when you organically grow them on each of those
Yeah.
respective platforms, that there can be a lot of differences. So have you seen anything with that?
Incredibly different. We're making unique content for TikTok now that we aren't uploading on YouTube. Like, just because the algorithms are so different, the way that I think that the viewer on TikTok is a little bit more fickle than the viewer on YouTube. Like, the viewer on YouTube will
Mm,
give you a chance. So we can do a lot longer intros with a little bit more context. But on TikTok, it needs to be like,
mhm.
I messed up. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, and it's just got to be really fast. But on YouTube, I can say this is the world's weirdest swimsuit, and this is me in the world's weirdest swimsuit, and then that's a great intro, and it does great.
More recently, you've kind of even expanded the games that you've been playing, like Cuphead, Among Us,
Mhm.
Rumbleverse, right? Have you seen the audience on either of the platforms really responding to those?
That's been a really hard learning experience for me. Is that number has gotten big on my channel? Like the TikTok number is large, like 1.1 million, and so I look at it and I'm like, man, like I should have enough pull where I can do what I want to do. Having to take that step back and take that hit where I do different content and it doesn't resonate as well. One of the things whenever I switch off Fall Guys, I mean, every single stream, go back to Fall Guys, go back to Fall Guys, please play Fall Guys, Fall Guys, Fall Guys. And it got to the point where I was like, man, why am I fighting this? Like, everyone wants me to play Fall Guys. It gives me an opportunity to talk to the chat way more because it's not mindless, but like I played it so much and the maps are the same. Like, I can just make it more about the viewer and it's more of a canvas. And so that's such a struggle is whenever you feel like you've used up a game and it's time to move on, especially with the way that my content has gone. Like, I've gone from Warzone to IRL to Fortnite to Fall Guys to hard games. Now we're back on Fall Guys. I'll feel like a little antsy sometimes if I'm in the same place because I don't want to get back to where I was with Warzone, where I was like, I was on the boat. Like, the ship had sailed. I was on the boat, but I was like at the bottom of the boat hiding. And I'm the first person off the boat. And so that it like scares me to niche down, but I think that in the short term, it's a good decision. The audience responds so differently to different games, and like I can be the same person, but it just doesn't matter if they aren't interested in the game generally. And that's another thing with content that we're trying to get rid of is that disconnect from game to game and using the games as a canvas, where we're doing more IRL storytelling with like videography and trying to show people the emotional side of creating content versus just I did this challenge and then I had to do this and then I did that because of this and then but it's just like the same thing over and over.
I think you kind of even keeping some of that format and being able to apply it to different games and to bring some like I think there even if there are people that want you to go back, for me looking at it, it's like you haven't been doing it that long, although obviously you've been absolutely killing it from it. But for the next like 3, 5 years, I really loved him in this. And then, oh, what's the interest now that of the other games and the other areas? Similar even with like Mr. Beast going into the philanthropy and all the other things that
Mhm.
he now does. It's like you have that, and so it is very
Thank
cool to
you.
see.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. Holy cow. Thank you.
And talking about multi-streaming as well, especially because you are streaming on multiple platforms and you're incorporating it with different types of content, which is something that often I'll see people who just focus on the one specific type of content for the platform, even like Facebook or YouTube, and
Mhm.
they just do only the long form or only the live streams. But you very much do a variety within that. You're streaming on TikTok and YouTube. Have you seen a going live impact between that and even managing multiple streams at the same time?
I call like TikTok brain. Whenever you're streaming on TikTok, the viewer pops in for maybe 5 seconds, and if they're not entertained, they're gone. And
Yeah.
then again, we're trying to optimize session time. So like, I'll literally sometimes if you come in and I'm live on TikTok, I'll be like sitting here bouncing, like just to keep my energy up. And I'm playing the game, and if I'm not playing the game, if I'm like a low moment, I'm like looking over here and I'm like saying thank you for the follow, thank you for the likes, like thank you.
Right.
I'm like responding, so like I'm like trying to do this the whole time, and it's like
Yeah.
extremely taxing, but it's the way. If you want to be the most successful, you need the most interaction and watch time on the live stream for TikTok. And so it's beautiful because there's an algorithm, so if you're a good streamer and you can put all of your time and energy into that, you can really excel. But if you're like me where I'm working 4 or 5 hours a day on content and then I'm streaming afterwards, and then once I'm done, I'm doing all my own thumbnails too, so like I'm trying to do a lot of things at once for me to get on stream and like for more than 2 hours. If I'm doing
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours, and I mean for a while there I was doing 8 hour streams, man, given that much energy, it's tiring. And then people will come in and be like, man, go to bed, bro. You look so tired. I'm like, I know, just please be nice to me. But if you're on TikTok, you scroll once and now you're on my stream. I better be doing something to entertain you. And so
Oh,
it's really, really hard to get out of the TikTok mindset. In all honesty, that's why I've started doing dedicated videos here and streams here. So I can like go full TikTok brain over here and just like focus on making sure I'm entertaining.
I think it's very commendable that you even can do that and deliver a live stream experience in the first place, because it is a very hard skill to transfer even the content, the recording, especially if you do something off stream, you can just edit everything together.
Yeah.
How has the live side of things impacted your growth on the platforms?
I can actually show you if you're on my TikTok, look at my likes versus my followers. Having 11.7 million likes versus 1.1 million, you would think I view botted, but that's
Mm,
all from live. There were days I would do 20,000 followers on my live stream on TikTok
wow.
a day. Yeah, I mean, and like 10,000 was an average day. If we did better than that, it was a good day. And if we did less than 10, and these are followers, 10,000 followers.
Right. That's insane.
Right. It's like create like that's why I want to re-specify. It's almost like saying billion with a B. Like it's like make sure we know that. So that like, dude, it was a crazy time, and the likes on your live stream don't count towards that. So there would be times in my live stream for a 4 hour live stream, I'd have 2 million likes from the live stream,
Mhm.
but they don't like transfer.
Yep.
And so yeah, I think I hit 1 million followers, like 7 million likes on my TikTok, and just because the growth on the live stream was so intense.
I saw a tweet of yours too with the idea that outsiders think that creators are insane. That being, maybe just your casual person who's never thought about ever posting a piece of video or something,
Yeah.
for believing in themselves so much and what they are trying to do, what they are trying to create, the vision that you are putting out there. And then when they become successful, everybody calls them a genius. Oh, you went against the grain. You figured it out. You were right the whole time. I mean, do
Yeah.
you see that happening now with where you're at? Obviously, you're still very early in your journey overall in the great scheme of things, but
Yeah, there's like two sides to this. There's like my personal life, and then there's my creator life. Creator life, whenever you're small and you aren't proven, I 100% understand exactly why, you're not getting your flowers. You have no reason to get your flowers, like people don't know the potential and the faith that you have in yourself and what you can do until you prove yourself. So I had people leave my personal life whenever I decided to do this. And I would have too. That's the funny thing, right? Is like, think about it. I'm graduating college. I have a good degree. I could go get a good job. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm just going to start playing video games. And like, that's basically like how it was. And so, like, would I have had the same faith in myself? Absolutely not. Because I didn't give anyone a reason to believe in me. I'm super confident in myself and I know I can do this. And like, that's great, but it's not paying the bills.
sure.
I would have done the exact same thing. And now, as a creator, whenever I look at smaller creators, I'm not as much focused on their content. I'm more focused, like whenever I talk to them about their mindset. And that's how I've gotten to this stage, is from having people like keep me in check. Like I have a great support system in my personal life and now in my creator life as well, of people who will tell me if I'm doing something wrong, will give me feedback, will give me insight. And like I'm more focused on, okay, what are these numbers saying to me about my content? It's not like, man, my video flopped. I hate this. Content stinks. Like life is bad. It's like, okay, our hook wasn't good enough, or our conclusion wasn't good enough, or the music was bad. There's something in the video that wasn't working and didn't resonate with the audience. If I went back and talked to, 22-year-old me coming into content creation and he heard me talk like this, he would be like, man, who is this guy? And so I don't hold a grudge against anyone that didn't have faith in me, because like, man, if I met old me, I wouldn't have faith in me because I didn't
Sure.
know what the hell I was doing. But I do think it's funny because now if you talk to me, I do sound crazy. Like if you hear me talk about like the analytics and the numbers, like I was talking so
Sure.
fast because whenever I get excited, I talk really fast. And so, yeah, I'm sure I sound crazy now to the average person, but like having found my passion, and regardless of like the money behind it and the lifestyle behind it, it's so awesome to make a video, and it's my video, and all I want to do is sit there and watch it over and over and over again. And like that's my happiness.
A lot of people are talk, especially at just the beginning, where oh, remember me or whatever, and then you never hear about them because they don't actually put in the work. They don't
Yeah.
walk the walk behind it, and that's something that I definitely see from you, from everything that you are doing in terms of differentiating what you're working on. So it's been very impressive to see.
Thank
And
you.
I think this is actually the perfect place to wrap it up as well, man.
Yeah.
Halite, thank you so much for joining me for the podcast today. So many lessons, so many things to take away for everybody back at home. But thank you for joining, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking content. Thank you so much.
you don't
Thank
always
you.
get the chance to talk about these types of things in your normal
Right.
content. So that's what's like, this is one of my favorite things about the podcast, and like the opportunity to chat with people like you is like, it's incredible. So guys, be sure check out Halite. Don't forget as well, rate, review the podcast. If you guys enjoy this, you want to hear more from us, let us know feedback, where else you want to see us go. As always, happy streaming.
As you know, this podcast is brought to you by Pipeline. I wanted you to meet a few members of the Pipeline community.
My name's Chadwick. I've been streaming for a little over 2 years, been a member of Pipeline for that long as well. I joined Pipeline before I even ever started streaming, and I really do believe in it. I don't think I'd be anywhere close to where I am if I was even streaming at all, if not for everything I've learned here.
Hey, I'm NickNax94, a Facebook gaming partner and a Pipeline member for 8 months. Joining Pipeline gave me the chance to invest in my dream, to learn and build confidence, and really to become a better content creator, but also to meet like-minded creators through the Discord community.
Hey guys, I'm a Moment with Alex, Pipeline member for just about 2 years. One of my favorite moments as a Pipeline community member is getting to listen to the mountains of knowledge that Stone and Snoopy have in group mentorship sessions, and being able to talk about it further with other community members live during those sessions.
You heard it from our members first. If that resonates with you, I encourage you to sign up for a free trial with the link below. You can cancel at any time. This offer is a podcast exclusive. Consider this your invitation to level up as a creator. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I wanted to just end this with a little bit of context on why we do what we do. We're former content creators ourselves, and we just really want to help as many content creators as we can. That's why we started Pipeline.gg. It's a platform where you can find other like-minded creators and learn from the pros who've already been there. Get step-by-step guidance so you can avoid all the mistakes that we made in the beginning. If you love the episode, there's going to be even more inside of Pipeline. So check it out. Head over to pipeline.gg.